So when I play a stroke on the snare, I like the stick to hit, and then it comes off the head, and then I stop the stick. But check this out. Watch Thomas Pridgen play a backbeat here. And then watch Anika Nilles play a backbeat. You see how they like bury the stick in the snare into the head? It's like when you bury the beater on a kick drum, boom, the beater stays up against the head. When they're playing those strokes on the snare, that stick bead is staying put right after the stroke. I think it looks super cool. Is there a healthy way to play that? If Thomas Pridgen and Anika Nilles are doing it, and a bunch of other drummers, we'll play some more examples, there's got to be a healthy way to do it. So let's talk about that some more today. So when I play a backbeat on the snare, I like to stay really loose. It's basically a free stroke where I throw the stick down, it hits the snare, and then it starts to bounce back. It starts to bounce back because I'm super loose. And the stick hits, its momentum transfers into the head, and the stick starts coming back up. And then I catch the stick, right? We talk about that in the Better Hands course. I teach you the mechanics around that. And that's a great way to play because you'll stay healthy. If you hold the stick tight and you smack that drum, all the shock goes up the stick. It goes into your fingers, into your hand, your wrist, and you're going to hurt yourself. I mean, imagine playing that way for weeks, months, and years. Just after one drum practice, like a 30-minute practice, you're going to feel that pretty heavily in your hand. So you play that way for a long time, that's going to hurt really bad. So I'm a big fan of doing like the free stroke way and not burying the stick into the head. Also, as I've been doing some research, it sounds like people call this a dead stroke. So we'll refer to it as a dead stroke, where that bead stays put on the snare. Now, I think that dead strokes look cool, right? I just think they look awesome. I also think that there's a reason to do them from a sonic perspective, right? There's a certain sound you can get by playing a dead stroke. I think I read that Marco Miniman was talking about this in his DVD, that when he's playing like a 4 on the floor groove and he wants to drive that backbeat home, playing a dead stroke really helps get consistency. And there's just a certain feeling you get when you play that dead stroke, right? So if you want to add the dead stroke to your bag of tricks, you should be, in my opinion, you should be able to play it the healthy free stroke way where the stick bounces off the head and you stop the stick. You should be able to play that. That should be second nature. Make that sound really good. Play that consistently, all that good stuff. But if you want to play the dead stroke, here are some things I've been learning on how not to do it and then how to do it in the healthy way that's sustainable. So how not to do it. The only way I can play a dead stroke, by the way, is playing a rim shot. If I'm just hitting the head, there's really no way I can see to do this. If you found something out, awesome. Let me know. But so we're assuming it's a rim shot, right? Where the shank of the stick and the tip or the bead of the stick are hitting at the same time. Shank's hitting the rim, bead is hitting the actual head. So assuming we got all that under control, we're playing a nice rim shot. The bad way to do this, the unhealthy way, is to grab the stick and hold it tight before you play the stroke. And so when you play the stroke, you're already holding the stick tight, and you're doing that so that you can control it when it hits that head and you don't let it come back up. The problem with that is all of the shock from that hit is going to go up the stick and into your hand. So that's not good. But the way that I've been doing this and practicing this is I stay really loose. I play the stroke really loose, but this part of my hand, right, fleshy part right here, acts as like the ceiling for the stick. And then you let the rim and the head absorb the shock of the hit. You are not holding onto that stick tight when you play that dead stroke. You play the stroke, it's a rim shot, all of the force goes into the rim and into the head, and right after you play, you grip the stick. You can push down with your thumb. Again, we talk about that in the Better Hands course. But you grip, you push down, and you especially focus on pushing down that bead into the center of the head, right? And that's how you can play that in a healthy way because you're not absorbing that shock up into your hand. you're only pushing down after the main impact has happened. So you might get a little bit, but I think with enough practice and you just get the feel of it, you teach your body and, you know, the small little muscles in your hands, the little nuances that are only developed after hours and hours of practicing. I think after playing this in a relaxed way over and over, you get even better at not absorbing shock into your hand. Okay, so I said that it was the ceiling, like this part of my hand was the ceiling right here, but that's not really it. It's more this part of my finger. Now that I'm actually sitting down at the kit and playing, it's more this part of my finger. It doesn't come up to this when I hit, you know, it's not like that. It's more like hitting here, and I do have my fulcrum. Sometimes my thumb is closer on the top of the stick to push down. Sometimes it's not. You can experiment with different stuff, but let's just play a little bit here. See how it sounds. All right, so I was trying to play dead strokes every time on the snare there. Now let me move back, see if you can hear the difference to just playing a stroke that comes off the head, sort of that free stroke way. Here we go. Okay, maybe you can hear a difference, maybe not. But like I said, you want options, right? You want to be able to play free stroke way. You want to be able to play a dead stroke. I mean, maybe you don't. I do. So that's what I'm working on. I'm not there yet, for sure. You know, I'm working on this, but this is coming from watching drummers that are far better than I am, like Thomas Lang and Anika Nilles. And I think I already said we'll play some other clips as well. This can be done. Like, these are really good drummers. They're staying healthy. They're making a career out of drumming. And they're staying healthy, and they're playing this way. And so again, I want options, right? I want to be able to play with a free stroke way where it comes off the head. I want to be able to pull out a dead stroke if that's what I'm feeling. And so something I'm working on right now, give it a shot and make sure you pay attention to what your body's telling you. If after a drum practice you're feeling it in your hand, you're feeling it in your wrist, like, you got to back off and figure out what you're doing wrong, right? So I'm going to keep working on that. Thanks so much for checking out Tempo League. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You know, I've seen different forums. I know people are talking about this, maybe not a ton, but it's something that's really interesting to me. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have any suggestions for how you play these and you stay healthy, that'd be great to hear. And, you know, I'm putting out a video every week right now. Tuesdays at 2 o'clock is when they're happening. So appreciate you checking this out and appreciate you subscribing. If you're having any trouble with your hands at all, jump over to tempoleague.com. Check out the Better Hands course. You can start a free trial. and we'll just walk through the things that help me really rebuild my hands. And opened up all kinds of doors. Drumming became way more fun. And so check that out. And I hope you have a great week. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.